In response to Xpeng, the Mona has been an incredibly successful car for Xpeng in China. Well, BYD have gone, well, hang on a minute, we need to respond to this. This is their response. I'd say it's not quite as good as the Xpeng Mona, but it is going to be cheaper as per experts from the country. And honestly, this is kind of an onslaught, isn't it? Because we're seeing these Chinese car makers bring out these electric cars that nobody outside of China can compete with. The prices are so incredibly good for what you get. This new BYD electric car, this electric sedan, is about the size of a slightly bigger than a Tesla Model 3, very similar size to Xpeng's Mona. It's slated to come in at approximately 14,000 US dollars. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. It's great to have you with us. So let's have a quick look at this, well, I think it's fair to say, budget electric car from BYD, which I think looks pretty good. For a budget car, it doesn't look budget. I mean, yeah, the wheels look a bit odd and small, but other than that, I think it looks pretty nice. Apparently, BYD are going to actually release the full details of this car on the 17th of May, so in a couple of days' time from now. But we do know a lot of stuff so far, including, well, the size. It is 4,780 millimeters long, 1.9 meters wide, and 1.5 meters high. Wheelbase is pretty decent, actually, at 2.8 meters wheelbase, meaning it should have a fair bit of space inside for a sedan. Power. Power is a little bit anemic for a car this size. It's a 100 kilowatt motor, and it has a top speed of 150 kilometers per hour. Top speed, I think, is fine. 100 kilowatt in a car this big seems a bit underpowered, if you ask me. But the BYD has, well, the E7, I should say, the BYD E7 has two different battery pack options. The smaller battery is a 48 kilowatt hour battery pack. The bigger one is a 57.6 kilowatt hour battery. So range for the base model, which is going to come in at around $14,000, is 450 kilometers CLTC. Real world WLTP, you're probably looking at 350 to 360 kilometers of range. The bigger battery option, the 57.6, has 520 kilometers of CLTC range, so probably about 410 kilometers WLTP. Considering that model is probably going to come in at about maybe $16,000. I mean, it's obviously going to be a very good value proposition. I think BYD is really going to be targeting fleets, businesses, and probably even taxi companies, who want a very affordable car, and this would probably suit them really well. Now, this is the updated version. It's sort of similar to the BYD E2, and the BYD E2 sold only 612 units in April, down 66% year on year. So sales of the E2 have gone down, and this is kind of the replacement, the E7. Now, apparently this car has already reached dealers, so it looks like people can actually place an order. And just to recap, the vehicle is aiming at taxi services and fleets. And part of the reason, right, it's got that long wheelbase, that 2,820 millimeter wheelbase, is in order to cater for ride hailing and taxi services to have more space for passengers in the back. It makes a lot of sense. And of course, I mean, having that smaller motor, you'd think probably wouldn't be a big priority for taxis to drive fast in China. What else do we know? Well, just to recap, power, 100 kilowatt or 134 horsepower. It's not a lot, of course, but electric motors generally do have a fair bit of torque, so it's worth keeping that in mind. Now, in terms of looks, I think this car actually looks a fair bit like the BYD Seal. Apparently, the interior is, well, we've found some interior photos here, guys, and I think the interior looks not too bad. It doesn't look particularly budget. It looks decent. Maybe the screen that's right in front of the driver looks a little bit budget, but other than that, the large screen in the middle, that looks like a 15-inch screen. That looks pretty impressive to me. I think it's actually 15.6 inches. And you can also see that there's USB ports and air vents for the rear passengers, which would be pretty important for taxis. Now, I should mention the curb weight. The curb weight seems too low. I mean, if this curb weight is accurate, this car is incredibly light. They must be making it a carbon fiber or something. I can't understand why it is so staggeringly light. It weighs 1,499 kilograms up, and that's for the base model with the smaller battery. And the bigger battery that car in total weighs 1,566 kilograms. So it's only an extra 67 kilograms, according to this report from Car News China, for the bigger battery. I would have thought this car would weigh a lot more than that in both specifications. I don't know how it can possibly be this light. I'm wondering if this is a misprint or there's something incorrect here. But if it is this light, that's incredible. Now, Car News China, they're saying the price for the base model is going to be approximately 100,000 yen, which equates to $13,820. Meaning, yeah, I mean, how does China do this? There's so many car brands now in China making really good quality products at incredibly good value prices. And this means that this is cheaper than an equivalent internal combustion engine car. Kind of the future's here, isn't it? The future's here. When we're starting to see these electric cars cheaper than internal combustion, I think that shows us exactly where the automotive industry is going to head over the next 10 years. BYD have begun rolling out building 1,000 kilowatt superchargers that can add more than 400 kilometers of range in a staggering 5 minutes. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to have you with us. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. BYD has rolled out 1,000 kilowatt chargers. Now, unfortunately, so far only in China. However, I have heard BYD has plans to roll them out outside of China. There will be a big challenge for them. It's going to be really difficult to do this, and I'll explain why in just a minute. In March this year, BYD announced its latest 1,000 volt platform, which is capable of 1,000 kilowatt charging. Assuming you can find yourself a 1,000 kilowatt charger, that means you can add just over 400 kilometers of range, theoretically, in 5 minutes. The 1,000 volt architecture with 1,000 amps of charging current it's designed to add 2 kilometers of range every single second, meaning it's actually not pretty similar to the speed of actually putting a petrol pump into your car and, putting petrol or gasoline into your car. Now, I should point out, though, it's not really a fair comparison because you can't do that at home, can you? You can't put gasoline in your car at home. At least 99.9% of the world can't do that anyway. So electric cars at this point in time obviously have a huge, huge advantage. So with the first few sites in China, I believe BYD have partnered with Sinopec, the largest oil company in China, and they're building them out. And the reason is because this is a big job, right? It's really difficult to find a site capable of 1,000 kilowatt charging or multiple 1,000 kilowatt chargers. So really BYD probably need megapacks, Tesla megapacks, or BYD have their own version of those, putting those in the ground. That would enable them to put out this kind of charging speed.